What's the craziest move somebody has pulled in a competitive online multiplayer video game you played? I used to be hooked on this lame browser-based RTS called Travian. Seemed like a safe, kiddie game I can play in the background, but nope. So there was this woman going by the name Dark Rose who apparently was the reason for one of our competitor alliance imploding. The leaders decided to take her in based on the my enemy's enemy is my friend balls. So, the guild she was in was run by a married couple. Dark Rose was in love with the guild leader and decided to send nudes to the email account he shared with his wife with the message, "Last night was fun, here's a souvenir." The wife apparently worked in law enforcement and abused her power to track Dark Rose down and threaten her. The wife got caught and got fired from her job. The marriage got rocky and both obviously can't give a frick about the dang online game anymore, and their alliance imploded. It looked like a kid's game. Witnessed an undercover operation between two gangs on a Rust server. One gang was in the middle of attacking me and my friend's base when suddenly one of their guys turned on the rest. He had joined the server under a new name and joined that gang when he actually belonged to the rivals. The attacking gang got wiped out that day because of the operation. Rust is great that way. I need to get back into it. Battlefield 1. Gallipoli map. Somebody kamikazed a bomber into the dreadnought and destroyed it. It was really close to the shoreline and half the map went up like a Christmas tree. Maybe not the most crazy, but it looked unbelievably cinematic and awesome. I was squad leader this one time with some random, and I was pinned down by a light tank while trying to take a point. I kinda accepted defeat until out of nowhere one of my squad mates kamikazes his plane into the tank, taking it with him. I then get a message from him saying long live squad captain. I love Battlefield. There was this dude in Soul Calibur 5 who had like a 60-second combo with a reset mix-up at the end. It felt wrong. Basically he beat me senseless for 60 seconds then tricked me and proceeded to pound me for another 60 seconds. In CSGO somebody got a collateral jumping noscope with a sniper and then another noscope. It is so famous in the community that the devs added a picture where it took place on the map. Valve adds graffiti for unique or lucky plays that happen in competitions, like the Fnatic AWP squad or the Molo defuse on Overpass. On Halo Reach a guy sent a hologram to stand still whilst he walked forward pretending to be said hologram. Managed to get behind the guy on the other team who was trying to get a good shot on the standing decoy, and assassinated him. That's like when two of my friends equipped an identical skin and did a pretend hologram play. I used to know a guy that would just murder towns in Ultima Online. The big secret was that his name was a Mongbot, so as soon as he went to the wilderness to hide, he was gone. Just looked like any other scrub mob that spawns there for everybody, until he steps out from behind the tree and murders you. In another game I play, the non-laggy background setting turns the background dark black. It's in space. If you name yourself with weird but Chinese characters, your name can't show up because the game doesn't recognize it. If you also paint your spaceship black, you're almost invisible. So I'm playing Battlefield 4. I see a guy on top of one of the towers on Rouge Transmission. Two buddies spawn on me and we start shooting at him. He jumps, quick scopes the gun next to me, pulls his parachute and headshots both me and the guy next to me. Pulls out C4 and throws it. It lands on a helicopter that was flying by, blows it up, lands and stabs a dude who was healing his tank. He then steals the tank and never dies. Probably Cornell 100. My dad won a game of Fortnite by casually walking up to an entire squad's base and very slowly using his pickaxe to break down the foundation. Team Fortress 2. A soldier went into melee range of the enemy medic, jumped and shot his feet to kill the enemy medic and at the same time rocket jump, allowing him to fly high enough to double tap the enemy scout and engineer, as well as the sentry. For those wondering, all of them were softened beforehand by a rookie sniper. On another note, I was playing COD via duct, waiting to respawn and watching through one of those spectator cameras. Enemy sniper on point. I see a scout and medic pair try to take it from him. Crit melees the scout and switches over to his rifle and domes the medic with a quick headshot. We lost the game. One time on MW2 I got a tactical nuke in the first 90 seconds of the match. Got a few really quick kills, then my Harrier killed a few guys. Pavlo killed a ton and took me right to the nuke. Nobody on the other team had cold-blooded on, or the common sense to stay indoors apparently. I was so excited I accidentally used it right away instead of waiting for a couple minutes and trying to get more kills. Dota 2 was TI2 or TI3 Navi 1 game by using Chen plus punch fountain hooks. If you do it right you could send enemy hero into your base fountain and pick him off. Because of this game after the intonation it was patched out. Rainbow Six Siege, Fuse killed the hostage, the enemy team, and himself. I don't know, should I have been upset or applaud him? That's almost a proper Fuse ace. We used to play multiplayer crash team racing when I was at uni for hours on end. One night I was in second coming out of the mines on Dragon Mines. Last 2 corners but you can cut one of them. On the last lap, I had a green shield and fired it as soon as I came out the cave. The guy in front of me was literally about to cross the line, so he was a decent distance away, and I nailed it. He literally stopped bouncing right on the line as I overtook him to win it. Was the most photogenic finish I have ever seen bar none. Brothers, dang shields were harder to aim than the bombs. I'm impressed. Runescape 2006. There was glitch with a new skill added to the game which basically allowed people to go around the game killing other players outside of the PvP zone and looting their stuff. A player named Duriel321 took advantage of that and it is widely known as the Falada massacre. I remember this. If I recall correctly it was because he enabled PvP in his in-game house. During the party they were all booted into Falada but their PvP mode didn't stop and the entire group slaughtered everyone they could find in the city. My own personal move isn't something particularly impressive or great but it's easily my favorite personal gaming moment. Some backstory though, it'll add up. I love all the Football Manager games and have played them for years. Back on FM 2008 I was still at school and had developed a team from the ground up. Whenever I play any Football Manager I always take control of a side at the bottom of the pyramid and develop them into a Champions League winning side and this was no different. I'd spent 15 plus seasons at Stevenage UTD and took them up from the conference and developed them into the best side in the world and still had a Regan I'd picked up as a free agent in League 2 called Fraser Warnell. He was a striker who'd only ever been with me at Stevenage and had played 500 plus games and scored tons of goals in the lower leagues for me over the course of our rise. He was nowhere near good enough even for League 1 at 36 years old but I kept him around for sentimental reasons. Anyway, other kids at school played it, all on PSP, and this one kid called Sam had an insanely gifted Barcelona team that dominated every other kid's team. He'd thrash them 4 or 5 goals every time and no one had even managed to get a draw against his side. He keeps calling me out to play him so eventually I bring my PSP into school and we have a match. It's the 85th minute and he's 2-1 up. He's gloating and I feel deflated. My friend Dave suggests I bring Fraser Warnell on for the last 5 minutes so I do. I'm already losing so what else could go wrong? Here's how it played out. Corner from Darius Kendall. Header from Warnell. Goal. 36-year-old past his prime Fraser Warnell stepped up when I needed him most to score and draw me level. It literally felt like I'd won a cup. It felt that great. So yeah, not exactly anything special but it's special to me. We drew the game which broke Sam's massive winning streak. He beat me 4-1 in the replay though. I think this was back in the 3rd or 4th season of LOL. Actually thinking back it probably wasn't as amazing as some of the other stories here would be, but it was a huge win for us. So let's start by setting the backdrop of this game. It was a placement match for both of us as we climbed through Bronze League together, so the stakes were already super high. Not only that, we were like in the 70th minute of this game and neither team had any towers left. Just our nexus and I think any league player can agree that dying 70 minutes into the game basically means you are done for good as the respawn time is close to 2 minutes. Now this enemy team had a Teemo among other things, while me and my duo partner were playing Travian ADC and Morgana up. For those of you who don't know, Morgana is an ulti that operates as a mass snare to any enemy team players close to her. Our team just recovered from a failed Baron fight and were getting ready in the base to launch our final attack. At this point me and my buddy were still respawning. I was looking at the map where my team was meeting the enemy team for the final fight and out of the corner of my eye I saw Teemo's icon in our base for a brief millisecond before it disappeared. This could only mean one thing. Teemo is invisible in our base. waiting for me and my partner to leave so he can have a free-for-all with our Nexus, thereby winning the game. I didn't know exactly where this furry Satan went invisible, but I had a general idea. So while my team was taunting the enemy in the mid lane, I got my Morgana ready for the hunt. I should add, Morgana's ulti is grayed out when there are no enemies in the area. So the plan was that me and my buddy walk around the base until he sees that his ulti can be activated. We covered that base corner to corner until eventually it happened. We found him next to the destroyed top inhibitor, and as soon as Morgana activated her ulti, revealing the scoundrel, I, with one swift crit, sent that cunning little rodent into the afterlife. We cheered, we chanted, we pumped ourselves up to meet our lackeys in the mid lane for the final assault. We ended up winning that nerve-wracking game, and though it probably wasn't because of Teemo's death, I'd like to think that we at least prevented them from having an easy stolen win. TLDR. I used a flashlight to hunt and kill an invisible hamster. That TLDR was hilarious. I can't remember which one of the Battlefield games it was, but I used to crap my friends up by routinely using quad bikes loaded with C4 as anti-tank weapons. Sometimes I'd even jump off in time. Used to do this on BF2 with the Geeps. I believe it was called Jihad Geep. I'm pretty good at MK8 on Wii U, but in one race on Ice Outpost I came second. I was way ahead of the rest of the pack, but first beat me by about 7 seconds a lap. I read that as Mortal Kombat 8 on Wii U and was confused for a second. Someone playing Eevee in Pokemon Sun Moon at the competitive level. It's gimmicky as frick, so surprised it worked. Also Pachirisu winning the worlds for Sejun Park was amazing. Also Wolf Glix Raichu. It is surprising how deep competitive Pokemon can be. One time in Battlefield 3 I was in a little town with a hill next to it. There was an enemy attack helicopter freaking up my teammates' day, so I went to the top of this hill and fired an RPG at it, and missed. As you can probably imagine, that attracted his attention. I quickly ran down the hill into a building in this town. Next thing I know, the walls are exploding around me while this helicopter tears apart this town with rockets. I run from building to building as each of them begin to crumble. Finally, I have nowhere else to hide. I am standing in the middle of this demolished town, staring face to face with this helicopter, ready to die. I guess he was waiting for his rockets to reload or something, because he hasn't fired on me yet even though I was standing still in the open. I'm standing idle, waiting to die, when this guy in a jeep comes flying over the hill into midair, slamming into the side of this helicopter and knocking into a cell phone tower, destroying it. Somehow the guy in the jeep survives, pulls up next to me, and we drive to the closest objective. God, Battlefield 3 was so awesome. In Dark Souls someone had the nerve to invade me in the Undead Burg, murder me with a Chaos Weehender, and then message me saying that I'm a noob and that he feels bad for killing me. Unbelievable. Giants become unstoppable. One of the first few times I played as Reinhardt on Overwatch, I got my first ever play of the game and the first and only time I was ever voted legendary. We were on the map Eichenwald and I used his charge move to kill a Widowmaker that was standing across from me. My ultimate charged up because of this kill. At this moment Reaper and McCree ran in front of me and I hit them with the ultimate and killed them both. I then got another kill immediately after that. I had an incredible game and I received 10 votes at the end of the game. My friends I was playing with went nuts because they had never seen anyone get voted legendary before. I still have that video saved on my PS4. Smite. Playing against a pro who was playing Ulla. He has an ability to throw an axe in a line and if it hits, it stuns. It doesn't move super fast, but still faster than you can reaction dodge, and is rather small but has a 0.1s wind up, so about 15 frames for him. There's also an item that lets you do a short range teleport if you're not fighting anyone. This dude throws the axe, blinks forward to exactly where his opponent was before it connected and counted as being in combat, then just tees off, now being point blank and able to cover all escape options. Crap was nutty and there was no countering it. It's not totally overpowered since if you miss, now you're sitting duck and it's easier to miss than not from a range. I was playing COD Zombies one time with these Puerto Rican dudes. 3 of us went down at the beginning of round 40 and I watched the last dude beat the whole round solo while freestyling in Spanish on his mic the entire round. Nothing but respect for my president. I was playing my first round of Battlefield 3, went out of RU spawn with a tank and blindly fired it in the air, only to hit an enemy jet flying by at just the right moment. Ditto on that, but I was a jet in this case. I used to play Star Trek Online a long time ago. When I started, there was a Romulan ship called the Scimitar. It was very powerful, arguably the most powerful in game when it came out. However, most players that tried it were not able to survive in it, and there were a lot of complaints about it. I spent about a whole week reading all the skill, abilities, and information on all the mods you could get to use on it. After testing multiple builds, I came up with a build that allowed it to tank about as good as the best tanking ships, and it only lost about 150 DPS compared to the min-maxers. There is a species called the Borg. At that time, they had a ship called a tactical cube. It would one-shot almost everything. I was able to solo them about every time I tried. Also, if I activated the right skills at the right time, its one-shot ability wouldn't kill me. Also, in PvP, it was able to help me keep up with the min-maxers. I was always accused of hacking and running mods because I had the only ship build that could last that long in combat and do that much damage. It was an overpowered build in PvE. I shared my build with other players, and it ended up getting spread throughout the community. Till they redid the skills and trays, it was the best build in game. Razor. During a match of ranked in Rainbow Six Siege, we were playing on coastline and we were down 2-3. So if we lost one more round we would lose the match. It all came down to one last attack on kitchen. Well, normally on kitchen, I just sit the window that looks directly into OBJ and pick off anyone who rotates through a site. About 30 seconds are left in the round and all my teammates are dead or dying. So I say frick it and just jump straight into objective, only to immediately get put down by a frost trap. So at that point, we all give a collective sigh thinking we had lost, since there was no way we could win now. Well, lucky for us, there were no defenders inside of objective, and they must have been roaming all the way across the map because I ended up securing the objective, while downed, because they weren't playing objective. We ended up winning the next 2 rounds after that and won the match, all because I clutched a round by doing nothing. TLDR. I won a round because of the defenders weren't playing OBJ and they ended up losing the match because of it. Also sorry for formatting, I'm on mobile. Not online but at a tourney for Tekken 6. I entered for fun since I like the game and I'm fairly good, nowhere near pro like some of these people I'm about to talk about. I get to the semi-finals and I'm up against a seriously player. I use King because Luchada all the way. He chooses Kazuha. By some miracle, I win the first round which surprises him. So he goes into some juggling combos. He wins and we are in the final round. I played defensively and it's an even round until I get a grab on him. Behind me, I hear sounds of shock and disbelief. Out of nowhere, the guy goes crazy and finishes me off. After he was declared the winner, he apologizes to me for going ape like that. He goes on to say I was a good player but I surprised him by that grab because he is a pro player and no one has gotten a grab on him in almost 2 years at the time. User somehow created a skin with a giant rocket as his penis, ran through the map poking everyone from behind, starting with me, knocking down my avatar. I was laughing too much to do anything, and then he teleported out and I never caught him. I am quite happy about something I did in Rainbow Six Siege. I was playing Fuse on bottom, biker bar. I was the last one alive with the defuser. Before planting, I set my cluster charge on a wall, planted, and then went up on a nearby roof. Enemy comes to defuse bomb. I set off cluster charge. Either this kills him or it distracts him enough for me too. That's actually a really good strat. I used to be really good at 1v1s on MW2, not being big-headed but unbelievably good. Had a stupid win streak, beating a majority of people I played by 10 to 15 kills, until this one guy came about. I can't remember what his name was but this mother 20-0 me in a matter of 2 minutes. He had the spawn trap down to perfection. I just turned my PS3 off. I prefer to be the guy that runs around and stabs people. It's more of a challenge to me. Everyone else still uses bullets or noob tubes. Once me and an amigo were down 5 goals on Rocket League and our teammate left, and we 2v3D for the 6-5 win. We were screaming so loud. That's how we earned our seats in Valhalla. Rainbow Six Siege. Guy fires and misses all the rounds in his rifle, and I light him up like heck. He was standing like 4-5 feet away from me, but he starts spamming control and basically looks like he's doing the worm. Was surprisingly effective, as I missed all my shots too. Just go to the Rocket League subreddit, then go and try to play the game and realize how much you suck at it in the beginning so you can fully appreciate the skill of those video game gods. S1 play throwing an AWP over the wall to B-bomb site on Dust 2 to mildly distract Nitro and run some thwart window to kill him with a pistol. CSGO. I remember it like yesterday. Me and 2 teammates in a Halo 4 big team battle server got picked off by a single sniper shot, all in a line. The bullet went through me first, standing on one of the bases in Ragnarok, hit the guy behind me, and ricocheted across the back cliff into the head of someone running to a mantis. I have the replay if anyone wants it. Super late to the thread, but my friend once went top of the leaderboard on a game of Battlefield 1 without killing anyone. He played medic and hacksaw-edged his way to the top spot. Earlier this week I was playing in the movie theater map of Far Cry 5 Arcade, and I was in the air ducts. Well, I accidentally fell through one of the open vents and killed someone standing directly beneath me. In Return to Castle Wolfenstein, on the beach map, we used to boost someone over the wall before the engineer was able to blow a hole in it. You'd get in the base while everyone on the opposing team was still in the bunker shooting at the attackers on the beach. It was usually easy to grab the papers and get them to the radio in under 2 minutes, surprising the heck out of the defenders. Halo 3 doubles. Think it was a 50 game. It was on Foundry, and the score was tied at 24-24, 25 to win. Guy top middle shoots his fresh rockets at me and I take his face with the sniper and we win. His rocket was too late but it did kill me. Thought that was the coolest thing ever at the time. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.